Hey, what's up everybody? Good afternoon and welcome back to the channel. This is The Healthy Project and my goal here is to help you live a healthier life. And what we're going to talk about today, this is the very second video of my channel, is this. We're going to talk about how to make a healthy, safe weight change in your body. And I get a lot of questions or I see a lot of posts from people in different areas wanting to change how much they weigh. Now, the vast majority of these are people who want to lose weight. And so when I talk today, understand that I will talk a little bit about weight change, and a lot of times that I will interchangeably use that with weight loss, but a lot of these principles still apply even if you want to gain weight. If you are what a weightlifter would call a hard gainer and you take just tons of time to be able to put on muscle mass, these principles can still apply to you. So if you're ready to go, let's jump right in. And today I'm just telling you, it's gonna be a little sciencey today. But if you hang with me, I'm gonna try and package it in a way that you can understand and that makes your life way, way easier. So without any further ado, here we go. When we talk about wanting to have a weight change in America, a lot of us are looking for maybe a superfood. If we're looking for a supplement that we can take, we're looking for a quick thing that we can do. And the sad thing is that there's really not a superfood that you can eat that would allow you just to see pounds melt away. Regardless of what you see on the front of the tabloids when you're checking out at Publix or Walmart, regardless of what somebody has mentioned to you online, regardless of what you see on those banner ads whenever you're going and trying to get tickets to the next football game nearby, and somebody says, eat this one thing to lose 57 pounds. Well, there's really nothing that we have that you can just start popping into your body to make yourself lose weight. Instead of trying to overcomplicate things, having any kind of a weight change in your body, a weight gain or a weight loss, all comes in to one simple factor, and that's this: calories in versus calories out. That's it. Calories in versus calories out. And what I mean is this, that if you want to gain weight, you need to eat more calories than you burn. And if you want to lose weight, then you need to eat fewer calories than you burn. Now, that sounds really simple, but where a lot of us get tripped up is we aren't entirely sure exactly what we have a requirement for as far as calories go. Because if you talk to anyone, anywhere, what they'll tell you is this: 2,000 calories a day. Just 2,000 calories a day. If you eat 2,000 calories a day, that's what you see on the back of every single cereal box in America. And trust me, if you have solved the problems and the mazes and all the puzzles on the back of the Lucky Charms, at some point you're going to read the nutrition label and you'll see on every box of cereal in America, estimated daily recommended calorie allowance is 2,000 calories. But that's for like every single person in America. That's a flat middle of the road. What you need is specific to you. And the way that you find that is by going and finding what you would call your basal metabolic rate. BASAL, metabolic rate. Not basil like basil and oregano, but basal as in the bare bottom floor, the lower, the base metabolic rate. We call that BMR. All right? And all the BMR is this. The BMR is the rate of energy expenditure per unit time by endothermic animals at rest. And if that's too sciencey for you, your BMR is how many calories do you need to stay the exact same mass if you didn't move at all. If you were in a coma and somebody had hooked an IV up to you, how many calories of glucose would they have to be pumping into your bloodstream for when you came out of that coma, you to have not changed in mass? Now here's what the BMR doesn't talk about. The BMR does not determine how muscular you're going to be. Your BMR does not determine how much body fat you're going to have. It doesn't determine your bone density. All your BMR does is tell you how many kilograms of you there's going to be at the end of the day. And what does it mean? Well, it just means this, that bigger bodies require more calories to stay the same size. And by default, it also means this, that smaller bodies require fewer calories to stay the same size. And you can use your BMR, to actually incredibly accurately predict the amount of calories that you need to eat every single day to gain or lose or maintain your weight. And you can do that by using a very simple equation. Now, I'm actually going to post a link to the equation. In fact, you can see the equation right here. That's horrifying. It is way too much math for me. I told you I wanted to make this channel easy and simple for you to follow, and so that's what we're going to do. I'm going to post links in the, as Matt Colville calls them, the doobly-doo down below. I'm going to post links to some BMI calculators, and I'll actually have a link specifically beside my favorite because it removes all of the math for you, and you just plug your numbers in and it tells you exactly where you need to go. But the BMR calculator can be used with something called the Harris-Benedict equation, and it's just a simple mathematical formula that puts you so stinking close to accurate that I rely on it daily for your calorie needs. And all you do is you find your BMR, and then you multiply your BMR by a number relating to your activity level. Now, here's the thing. If you are sedentary, and sedentary is the majority of America, so that means you work an office job, a lot of your exercise is walking to the elevator, or if your longest cardio session is from your car to your desk, you're a sedentary individual. That means little to no exercise per week. You would still multiply your BMR by 1.2, and that would tell you the total number of calories that you need to eat every day to stay exactly the same size. However, if you exercise lightly about 15 minutes to 30 minutes, 1 to 3 times a week, you'd need to multiply your BMR by 1.375. And that's because a more active body requires more calories to stay the same size. And as we move further and further up, a moderately active individual would need to multiply by 1.55. A very active individual who exercises maybe 6 to 7 days a week needs to multiply their BMR by 1.725. And that's me. I'm very active now. Or someone who is listed as, what I love, extra active. That means you have an active job like construction or a logger, and you engage in hard exercise 6 to 7 days a week. You'd need to nearly double your BMR, 1.9 times your BMR. But what that would give you is your daily caloric needs for you to keep your weight exactly the same size. And you go, well, that's great, but I don't want to stay exactly the same size. I want to lose weight, or I want to gain weight. Well, here we go. The Mayo Clinic says this, that a pound of fat is the equivalent to 3,500 calories. That is, regardless of your height, your age, your gender, your race, any biological factor whatsoever. If you have a pound of fat on you, that pound of fat contains 3,500 calories. And if you would like to lose that pound of fat, you need to stay in a deficit of 3,500 calories. And the easiest way that I've found to do that is to divide that up over a week. So if you wanted to lose a pound of fat in 1 week, you would do so by reducing your overall calorie intake by 500 calories. Simple. Reduce your overall calories by 500 calories And if you do that every single day for a week, at the end of the week, you'll lose a pound of fat. It's just math. It's just simple, easy to do math, especially when you don't have to follow the entire formula yourself. Instead, you have the benefit of, like I said, just kind of plugging and chugging on my favorite BMI calculator, again, in the doobly-doo linked down below. But what this also means is that you have a few options available to you to help you lose body fat. So number one, you can just reduce your overall calorie intake. You can do what a lot of people would consider horrible, but you can go on a diet. That is, you can reduce the total number of calories that you take in by 500. Another option would be that you could increase your activity level. If you wanted to look, you could begin to exercise more and just compare on those numbers to see until you are actually exercising and burning over 500 calories more a day. Or you can meet anywhere kind of in the middle on those options. But those options give you the ability to lose a pound of fat a week. And for somebody my size, if I wanted to do that, well, here's what I would do. I would go to my handy dandy little calculator. I'd click the link right in my description down below. I would go and input my information, and then I would either multiply by the activity level listed above, or I would just look and see what one corresponds with my activity level, and that'll tell you the calories that I need to eat every day to reach my goal. Now, I want to give you just a few simple warnings before we continue any further. Once again, as I said in the first video, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a CSCS. I'm not a cover model. I'm not a nutritionist. I am just a regular guy. And so anytime you make a major health change in your life, you need to speak to your health professional. You need to speak to your personal physician. Talk to somebody who can offer some introspection into your biological needs, because the last thing that you want to do is make a change that could be harmful to you, especially if you have a pre-existing condition such as heart disease or diabetes. However, if you are looking to lose body fat, a safe area to begin would be in around a 500 calorie per day deficit from your food. Now, you can also increase your activity level and happily increase your activity level as far as you kind of like to. But what I would not do is decrease your calorie intake too much further than around 500 calories per day, because you just don't want to starve yourself. You want to make sure that you're continuing to intake the correct amount of vitamins, of minerals, of essential amino acids found in a good complete protein. You want to have healthy fats. You want to have some good slow burning carbohydrates. But you want to make sure that you make some wise choices regarding how far you would decrease your calories. And on the flip side of that, if you wanted to gain weight, if you wanted to put on some muscle, I would try not to add more than 300 to 500 calories at the moment. And here's why. You'd run the risk, anything more than 300 to 500 calories, you start to run the risk of adding on a little bit more body fat than you'd really like to once you start to get into some higher and higher numbers. Now, it doesn't mean that you're not going to put on any body fat if you only ate a 300 calorie surplus every day. The fact of the matter is that anytime you start to gain weight, some of that's going to come in body fat. And by default, if you start to lose weight, some of the weight that you lose would be a little bit of muscle. But you're able, by interchanging activity increases and calorie changes, you're able to ensure that you keep the kind of the weight that you would like to have. So next Friday, if you want to find out the next major step in having a better overall diet than just focusing on calories in, calories out, make sure that you come back here next Friday. So go ahead, subscribe, and then hit that little bell icon, and it'll give you a notification of when I upload the next video that I do. But what it'll do is we'll be talking about the macronutrients next week. And so if 50% of your overall body change can come from just understanding this calories in, calories out principle, The next body change that you would really like to see, the next 30%, I would estimate, would probably come from being able to get your macronutrients, that is protein, fat, and carbs, in place. So what I want to do is I'll see you all back here next Friday. We can talk about the macronutrients and how you can have a better, more healthy life overall. Like this video, please. Make sure to leave a comment on anything that you liked, or a comment of any questions that you may have. Make sure that, as I said before, you subscribe and hit that little bell icon. And if you have a question, you can be sure to leave it in the comment section, or you can shoot me an email at thehealthyproject1@gmail.com. Thanks so much, guys, and I'll see you here next week.